Hello everyone and welcome to episode 31 of the WMMA 5 series here on the channel using Pride FC in now the year 2004 as it is Total Elimination 2004 time as it's the start of our welterweight Grand Prix. As before we get into that, let's look at the mail as we have a lot of shit to go over before we go to the actual card. As Tom Erickson has joined the pit, Volcon left Red Devil Sport. That sucks. We signed Diego Sanchez. He'll be in the welterweight Grand Prix as Keith Jardine extended his deal. Fedor Emelianenko finally joined Red Devil Sport. That's fun. We extended Vitor Belfort, Andre Vlasky, Jeremy Horn. We signed the Muscle Shark, Sean Sherk, Marco Hughes extended his deal. Hinzo Gracie extended, even though it was probably not a good idea, as he was on a 4-fight losing streak. Then he beat Forrest Griffin, then he lost to Anderson Silva. But now you know, it is what it is. 37. As Paul Daly, the fucking Simtech. What a great addition to the welterweight division, as he's not part of the Grand Prix, but he is perfect for what we want to do with kickboxing style. He could knock a motherfucker out in an instant, which we need some of that kind of knockout scary guys in the welterweight division. A lot of it's, we just have a lot of wrestlers in there right now, but hopefully with the added more people involved, we'll get more people in the welterweight division that can knock a motherfucker out. As we re-signed Mauricio Shogun Hua, we signed Scott Smith, who is actually kind of another wrestler for the middleweight class though. So that's fun. He's in the top 25. He's 24th right now, just by signing with us. Ron Faircloth. Ron Faircloth was a part of Rings for a very long time. He is going to be in the middleweight division, which he's 11th right now in Pride. For us, that's huge. Talk about a guy who just worked his way up into having a hell of a shot. A part of Pride. I mean, he really, he's beaten Ebenezer Fontes Baraga, former Pride guy. He's beaten Joel Aldea Oliveira, another former Pride guy. So, I mean, I feel like he's deserving of this shot here in Pride. As then we extended Dennis Hallman, Frank Mir, and we signed Chris Lieben from UFC, that's awesome. I always loved Chris Lieben. Chris Lieben as his boxing jiu-jitsu style. Obviously part of that first fucking Ultimate Fighter class, which I feel like we have Forrest Griffin now. Chris Lieben. I'm not signing Josh Koscheck. We don't have Kenny Florian, but we have Diego Sanchez. I mean, really, we have a part of that first class of the Ultimate Fighter. We have almost, I feel like, at least the top guys that were in that class. And so that was fun. So that was the mail. We did extend, so it's kind of shitty that I did this, but kind of is what it is. So this Pride FC, I think it was it was this one. So the Japan and NTSC subscription. So I bumped Japan up to enormous. Because we had Canada and Mexico was at enormous with America, so we bumped that to enormous. That doesn't cost anything to do, so that's why I kind of feel like it was shitty. If there's a way I could just put away funds to something, I would, because I don't want to just create a whole new broadcaster. I want to edit the broadcaster I have, and the only way I could do that was just go into the editor and do that. So that kind of sucks for what I mean, listen. We had 40,000 before I did that, so really I feel like that'd be like probably 10-20,000 with how much that would cost to do. If there's a way to just get rid of $20,000 of cash, I would do that. I guess I could give that to somebody, maybe. Not really sure if I could do that. I don't think that's how that works in the WMMA 5 universe. I don't think you can just give somebody funds to make them happy or anything. There's not really a morale feature, but I mean, that's just, that is what it is on that. But that was just one to talk about that. So you'll probably see everything, besides after this show, after Total Elimination, here, everything's going to be on the Pride FC Japan NTSC subscription, as you just kind of see all the way down here. As also, Brazilian Bushido 1. It's going to be fun. As, I think it's time to run the show now. As what a fucking card we have. Obviously, we have the welterweight Grand Prix, the first round of that, but the main event, Ice Cold Igor taking on Big Nog, both weighted at 235. That's going to be an awesome fight. As we have Nogueira making his third defense of the Pride Heavyweight title, If he's successful, would set a new record for the belt, which if Igor wins, that'd be his second reign with the belt. The first time ever we'll have a second reign as a champion. As they fought once before, this is the main event of Pride 24's Cold Fury 3, which Nogueira won by submission. That was back in 2002. Ice Cold Igor has finished 4 of his last 5 opponents off. They are 2 of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Nogueira is 2nd. Ice Cold Igor is 4th. As this is the 5th time Igor has main evented a Pride event, which this is the 3rd for Nogueira. Nogueira's won 3 of his last 5 fights by decision, and he's going to have a 9-inch reach advantage. Blurcat staff picks have Igor having a slight advantage, 4-3. I think that 9-inch reach advantage is going to come into fruition for Big Knock there. And so what a fucking fight that's going to be. I can't wait to see how that plays out. As the Croatian sensation, Pat Melotic, taking on Suzuki Kato. As this is Kato's submitted 4 his last 5 opponents. Kato trains at the Kato Dojo, which Melotic is 0-1 against other current members of that team. Melotic is the 2nd rated welterweight in Pride. Kato is 5th. So this is actually, as far as like the closest, as far as like 1 to 5 goes, like maybe not like rankings wise, you'll see 2nd and 5th. That's why this is the co-main event here, as it's 6-1 though with Melotic having the advantage. He's gonna have a significant weight advantage, but this is also the Pride debut of Kato. As Matt Hughes versus Jake Shields, what a fucking bout this will be. As this is gonna be all Matt Hughes though probably, but that's just a fun little kind of dream match. As Matt Hughes has won 4 of his last 5 fights by decision. He is the number 1 ranked welterweight in Pride, which Shields is 7th. Shields has won 3 of his last 5 fights by decision. This is the first time they have fought. Both fighters are making their Pride debuts tonight, and the betting odds have Hughes as a favorite by a huge margin, which Blurcat staff picks have it 7-zip Matt Hughes. So Superman, Dennis Hallman, taking on Sean the Punisher Pearson, as Pearson's won 4 of his last 5 fights by decisions. Hallman is the 3rd ranked welterweight in Pride, which Pearson's 8th, so it's kind of close. But Dennis Hallman has won 3 of his last 5 fights by decisions. This is the first time they have fought, of course, and the betting lines have him as a big favorite, though, even though it's 3-8 in the rankings. So it kind of shows you that the talent is, obviously the guys have kind of already been here in Pride. They're probably going to be ranked a lot higher than the guys who are just coming into Pride. Though Matt Hughes is the first guy, but he was the UFC welterweight champion of the world. So that kind of evens out there. But 7-zip for Dennis Hallman. As St-Pierre, George Rush St-Pierre versus the muscle shark Sean Sherk. Sherk trains at Minnesota Martial Arts Academy, which GSP has an overall record of 0-1 against other members of that team. St-Pierre has won 4 of his last 5 fights by decisions. This is the first time they have fought. He's going to have a 9-inch reach advantage over GSP, and they're both making their Pride debuts tonight. And GSP is a big favorite to win, as you see by the 7-0 Blurcat staff picks. Obviously, George St-Pierre, as far as his 10-1 record in Pancrase, you see here, hadn't really had a lot of great fights. But, that was their only 1-round fights besides this one with Mecca, which was in the 2nd round, and it was rated decent. So I just think it was because of the 1-round 10-minute time limit. I think he just kind of controlled the fight the whole time type of thing. Just kind of grinded them out. But we'll see. I think Sean Sherk can probably push the tempo. He is a wrestler, though, so we'll see how that goes. 12-3-1, though, record for the muscle shark, Sean Sherk. As Matt the Terror Serra versus Diego the Nightmare Sanchez match, I am very looking forward to seeing. Well, a fight, rather. I'm very much looking forward to seeing. Sanchez has submitted 3 of his last 5, as is Matt Serra. The welterweight is 10th for Matt Serra, and Sanchez's 12th ranking. So it's pretty close on that scale. Sanchez is going to enjoy a significant weight advantage. They're both making their Pride debuts tonight, which Matt Serra's 6-1 for the Blurcat stat picks. Paul is sticking with Diego Sanchez. Diego Sanchez, I believe, is 8-0, 6-0. And Matt Serra is 7-3. So kind of close on the records, as Matt Serra's gotten a little bit more of the, the veteran-ish fight experience, but still pretty close. Mike Swick and John Fitch. Oh yeah, right, Mike fucking Swick. Part of the Ultimate Fighter season. As this is one of the first, obviously, Fitch has won 4 of his last 5 fights by decision, as he is 11th, and Swick is 14th. I think Swick is the lowest rated welterweight we have. No, that's probably Paul Daly, actually. But the first time they have fought, both fighters are making their Pride debuts tonight, which Fitch has the big favorite to win it, as John Fitch, I believe, is 8-0, 7. As he went on a tear in rings. He beat Travis Lutter. He's beaten Nick Diaz. He's beaten Young Choi, Yuki Sasaki, So guys that have been in Pride as far as Young Choi and Yuki Sasaki goes, he's beaten them. So he can beat them. He belongs in Pride. That is for sure. John Fitch, hell of a fight. As then the Ronin, Carlos Newton way down there on the card because of his fucking pop. But he is the 4th ranked welterweight in the Pride, and Frank Trigg is 13th. That's a tough matchup for Frank Trigg. What I did was I put everybody's name in a randomizer and just hit random and that's how we did it. I felt like that was the fairest way of going about this. But for Frank Trigg, it came out on the losing end, as that's a tough fight for Frank Trigg. As betting odds have him as a large margin favorite does Carlos Newton, and you could kind of see why there with the rankings. As Crosley Gracie versus Kaito Nakamura, as this is pretty, as far as like, a 0-1 Crosley Gracie, 0-0 Kaito Nakamura, or 2-0 rather, for Kaito Nakamura. This is the first time they fought. This is the Pride debut of Nakamura, and he is 7-0 in the Blurcat stat picks over Crosley Gracie. It wouldn't be Pride FC if Gracie wasn't in the division and he wasn't gonna lose. As the way this fucking goes, is Lyoto Machida, the Dragon, taking on Minoru Suzuki. As what a fucking fight that's going to be. That's just awesome that I can have a Lyoto Machida fight Minoru Suzuki. It's poor Minoru Suzuki. Hasn't won since December of 2001. Lyoto Machida is the big favorite to win it. If Minoru Suzuki loses this one, which he probably will, I don't know who will put him up against next. Because he's 30-20. Lyoto Machida's had maybe one fight. Yeah, he did. He knocked out Daniel Gracie with a head kick. Oh no, it was a TKO, so he must have knocked him down, then finished it off. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a tough outing for Minoru Suzuki, taking on the Dragon, as he's minus 600 on the betting odds, plus 470 for Minoru Suzuki. Both guys no team. Karate background for Lyoto Machida, catch wrestling background for Minoru Suzuki. 35 years old, 25 years old, 5'10", 205, 6'1", 205. I'm sure they weighed in the same. Maybe one of them's gonna be a little bit heavier. If I had to guess, maybe Minoru Suzuki. As referee Yuji Shimada is our referee. As Suzuki brings in, being in front of a home crowd, gets a loud cheer as he enters, and it begins. They start with the special gloves. Machida comes in looking to strike. It looked like we were about to see a shot from Suzuki, but Machida was more aggressive, took the initiative. He kicked in a step-off jab, and catches Suzuki with a low kick to the front leg, then engage in the center, as Machida misses the jab, but lands the right hook. Suzuki misses the right hand. They stand and trade in the center of the ring, but neither fighter gives or takes any real damage. Suzuki looks for the takedown. He couldn't complete the single leg. Ends up just having Machida hop in place on the other one. As Suzuki gets Machida down, so he settles for pushing him up against the ropes. As Suzuki tries to dirty box Machida, but he wrestles free and circles back to the center. Machida comes forward with the attack. Machida steps into the pocket, avoiding the jab on the way. Suzuki's left off bounds after failing for a cleverly executed feint. As a jab is wide for Machida, then he lands the big right hand. Suzuki comes in looking to strike. As he misses the right cross, it leaves him over the counter. Machida comes in with a powerful straight right that landed cleanly, and he knocks him out with that one. What a knockout win for Lyoto the Dragon Machida, 2-0 now. This is really great. Way to go, Minoru Suzuki. Way to have a great fight out of that one. As Lyoto Machida name checks all of his sponsors and thanks all of his fans who turn out to support him. As our last prelim fight, that's part of the opening of the Grand Prix, Crosley Gracie versus Kaito Nakamura. As plus 230, minus 300, so it's kind of crazy how it's that close of a betting odds, but still all Kaito Nakamura. As Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Waiujutsu for Kaito Nakamura. As 19 years old, 24 years old. Crosley Gracie, although shorter, has the weight advantage. As our referee Big John McCarthy, our judges, as Nakamura is fighting in front of the home crowd tonight and gets a big cheer as he makes his entrance. Here we go. Touch of gloves. Takedown attempt right out of the gate from Nakamura, and he gets the single leg. Gracie has to pull guard. Fires off some rights, but Gracie doesn't trouble them as Gracie gets the double underhooks in and pulls Nakamura close, controlling him well. He's trying to strike at Gracie, but he can't land anything damaging as Gracie pushes Nakamura away while defending the strikes right out of the guard. Nakamura's trying to get back into guard, but Gracie was too quick, slipping away from Nakamura and starting to scramble. Nakamura somehow ends up on top of Gracie north-south, loses control of Gracie, who scrambles quickly, and again, Nakamura is up first and quickly grabs Gracie as he stands up, getting back control. And is looking for a trip takedown from behind, as Gracie shows stubborn resistance, and Nakamura cannot complete the takedown. Looking for another trip takedown from behind. He gets it. He does his best to fight it off, though, but Nakamura eventually succeeds in the takedown as he winds up on top of him, of his turtled-up opponent, holding him around the waist still. Nakamura is too slow to stop Gracie getting back up, and does get back control. As he's trying to drag him back down, he does so. Gracie has absolutely no answers and gets taken down with ease. As now he's got the back, he's got both hooks in, looking for the rear naked choke, and he gets the rear naked choke. Kaito Nakamura gets the win by submission. He taps out of Gracie. Sure, it's Crosley Gracie, but he still tapped him out as he goes into the quarterfinals. That was really good. Yeah, that was Crosley Gracie just couldn't do shit after Kaito had his back and kept taking him down after a while. As Kaito Nakamura name checks off his sponsors, then thanks all of his fans who turned out to support him. He's then asked who he'd like to face next, and the answer to John Fitch would be someone he'd like to compete against. You might just get your wish. As the Ronin, Carlos Newton takes on Frank Trigg, minus 650, plus 510, 11-7-1. It's kind of crazy Carlos Newton's record is that, I wouldn't say that bad, but I want to say, let's see, he was 6-3 when we started. Alright, yeah, and then 7-3 from the Grand Prix finals. Lost to Ryan, 1-2 straight, lost to Nate Marcotte, drew with Alan Goes, then beat Alan Goes, and then he's, took on Merlio in the fucking middleweight Grand Prix, then lost to Ronaldo Sobral, but then then beat Masanori Suda to make it 11-7, but still, very close, as we'll see who moves on to the next round, into the quarterfinal, as Hideki Nagumo is our referee, our judges ringside. We are underway, they touch with gloves. Moving in fast, Trigg wrestles his way into a dominant position in the clinch. Trigg attempts to trip him, but it doesn't work. Newton blocked it, now he takes control. Now he's looking for a leg sweep trip, as that gets blocked by Frank Trigg. It keeps a solid base. Again, Frank Trigg doing a great job stopping the takedown, as Newton ends up being out-wrestled in the grapple. Now Frank Trigg takes control, as now he's just trying to push him up against the ropes. He does so, now he's got him pinned, as Newton wrestles back against Trigg, turning him enough so he can escape from the ropes, as Trigg aggressively moves in and grapples with Newton, as Trigg attempts to wrestle Newton to the ground. It doesn't work though, so both guys are trying to do takedowns, both guys aren't getting it, as Trigg is trying to push Newton so that his back is up against the ropes, and now Trigg again pins him to the ropes, but again, Carlos Newton gets out of it. It works enough space to circle out, as Newton shoots in looking for the takedown. He gets it, finally we get a takedown, as Trigg is on his back pulling guard. Newton fires off a few punches, they aren't throwing any great force, as Newton has to lean back to avoid a couple of wild swings from Trigg. Attempts to pass guard and gain better position. Newton is too much for Trigg, passing guard and getting side control. And now looking for an Americana, which Trigg has to fight off the Americana attempt. He tries to transition the guard, but he can't manage it. Looking for an arm triangle, as Trigg defends it well. Newton blocks Trigg as he tries to transition the guard. Now he's trying to get in mount. He is now in mount with 3 minutes left, and there's several big shots, as he is unloading with big right hands, and Trigg is struggling to cope with the shots, as he's just pounding away with rights. Trigg is eating some sickening heavy shots to the face. Referee Hideki Nagumo has to jump in and stop the fight. You're winning by TKO, the Ronin, Carlos Newton. So that took a little longer than expected, but he gets the win nonetheless. And that was really great, hell yeah. As the Ronin, Carlos Newton thanks all of his sponsors for backing him, and then also thanked his family, friends, and supporters. He praises Trigg for the tough fight. Frank Trigg now 9-6. Carlos Newton 12-7-1. As Mike Swick taking on John Fitch, 7-4 Mike Swick. Sucks that Mike Swick's kind of had a rough go of it, as I love Mike Swick. He has been in KOTC, which he lost to Sean Pearson, which is kind of funny. But he did beat Thiago Alvarez, Chad Saunders. Trying to think who else would be. Oh, well, this one was a really great fight. Ron Carreño, as yeah, I mean, he's had good and great fights. I mean, really, the majority of his fights have been good to great. That's good. I fucking love Mike Swick. As John Fitch 7-0, 24, 26 years old, respectively, 6'1 and 183, 6 foot 183. As Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy for John Fitch, Mike Swick, no fucking team associates. He is a kickboxer, and John Fitch has wrestling skills, so Mike Swick could knock him out. Sure, he's the underdog here, but a swift kick could knock a motherfucker out in a second. As referee John McCarthy is our referee, as here we go, they start with the touch of gloves. Fitch shoots in for the takedown. He couldn't complete the single leg, and now ends up holding a leg while Swick hops into place. Fitch drives Swick up against the ropes, strapped him against the ropes, and Fitch hits him with a short left uppercut, looking to just take both legs and take him down. And he does so. As he trips Swick down to the mat. As he gives up his back, that's not good. You don't want to give up your back with 9 minutes left in this first round. He's got both hooks in. Looking for the rear naked choke. Swick somehow stops it. As he struggles against Fitch, but cannot get himself free of the hooks. Looking for it again, and he gets it. Poor Mike Swick gets stabbed out in 2 minutes. John Fitch ain't no. He's a fucking savage. As that was rated great as well. As John Fitch thanks everyone connected at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy for helping prepare for this fight, and he's the sponsors supporting him financially. John Fitch says he's very happy to cap his Pride debut with a win. Mike Swick's now 7-5. As Matt the Terror Serra going up against Diego the Nightmare Sanchez, minus 180 plus 140. Obviously, Matt Serra, a small little fella at 5'6", 170. Shout out to Short Kings out there. As Diego Sanchez is 5'11". He's heavier and he's taller, 6-0. As a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background from obviously Matt Terror. Serra, as he is from Henzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And Diego Sanchez is from American Top Team with a wrestling Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background. As Deki Nagumo is our referee, our judges for this one. They face off, and of course you see that Sanchez is towering over Matt Serra. As round 1 begins, they touch gloves. Serra connects with a nice jab and then catches Sanchez with a right hook. As Serra throws a punch, but Sanchez was equal to it. As Sanchez chooses a shoot-in on Serra, almost stops the takedown, but is left hopping on one leg while Sanchez holds the other one. As he drives Serra up against the ropes, now he's trying to drop down and wrap his arms around his opponent's legs, trying to take him down. He gets the takedown. Serra's now in half guard. Sanchez throws a few left hands, but is mainly trying to catch his breath, already kind of blown up as he blocks Serra as he tries to get enough separation to scramble up. Throws a few strikes that are without venom. Fires off a handful of punches, each easily being blocked with gloves. As Serra works some separation, then tries to quickly scramble his way into a better position, but Sanchez seizes that opportunity. Serra was too slow and gets caught in side control. As Serra unloads with some left hands, Serra's clearly dealing with them. Sanchez blocks Serra as he tries to transition to guard. He throws a few left hands to the body, tries to move to guard, but Sanchez doesn't allow it. Unloads with some left hands, but Serra deals with them comfortably as he tries to pull on guard, but Sanchez doesn't get anywhere with the attempt. Sanchez fires off a few punches as he catches his breath. He tries to transition to guard, but can't manage it. Halfway into the first round now. This is the first time we've been in a halfway point in the first round on one of these Grand Prix matchups, as Sanchez throws a few strikes, but they are without venom. Tries to transition to guard, but can't manage it. Referee stands him back up. Serra stalks forward, pressuring Sanchez. He confidently steps into the pocket, uses a left jab, but Sanchez avoids it. Avoids the left kick that is the setup. As both fighters come together and strike, Sanchez dodges a right hand and counterattacks with a jab and a left cross that just misses. As Serra can't connect to the set of strikes, then catches Sanchez with the right hook, and blood is visible on Sanchez. A strike looks up, open up a cut under his eye, as Serra's closing the distance, obviously looking to strike. Throws a quick punch, but doesn't hit it. Initiates an exchange of strikes as Matt Serra fires off a counter jab, but doesn't connect to Sanchez. Jab is wide from Serra, then catches Sanchez with the right hook. Sanchez warily circles, looking for the opening he needs to shoot in. Throws a quick punch, but doesn't hit it, as Sanchez moves in fast and shoots in on Serra. Almost stops the takedown, but is left hopping on one leg while Sanchez has a hold the other one. And then looking to drive Serra up against the ropes. He does so, now he's looking for the leg trip. He gets that, as Serra gets taken out by a quick inside leg trip. He can do nothing but pull guard, as Sanchez tries to pass guard. But Serra was ready for the pass and attempt, then through, though, and starts scrambling immediately. Serra ends up in guard, starts trying to work to get past the guard. He passes side control, but doesn't have time to secure the position before Sanchez starts scrambling, as Sanchez ends up having to pull half guard and losing out in the scramble. Serra throws some small strikes, but is clearly just taking a moment to catch his breath. Sanchez tries to move from half guard to full guard, but Serra doesn't allow it. 30 seconds left in the first round. Serra fights off some rights, but Sanchez is in trouble with them. Sanchez tries to transition to full guard, but can't manage it. And that's the end of the first round. So obviously the closest fight for the NBA odds has to be taken to the second round. As you're looking at the fight metrics, does look like Sanchez is winning from 33 to 14 there on strikes. They both are 1-for-1 on ground passes. Diego Sanchez 50% on his takedowns. The cut does help Matt Serra out a little bit. If he has a strong second round, he might be able to steal it. We'll see what happens. As you can hear some moves from the audience, they weren't impressed with that round at all. As the corner goes to work between rounds trying to close the cut on Sanchez. That's the bell. Final round begins. Serra throws a quick punch, doesn't hit it. Sanchez takes a chance to grab Serra into a clinch. He's looking to muscle Serra back up against the ropes. He does so, and now Serra stuck with his back to the ropes, smothering Serra against the ropes and stomps down on his foot. Sanchez drops down, wraps his arms around his opponent's legs, looking to try and take him down. He gets the takedown. 3 for 6 on takedowns is Diego Sanchez, and Matt Serra cannot stop the takedown as the pull guard. In half guard, Sanchez catches his breath, can then just throw a couple of punches to the body. He's ready to try and scramble, but Sanchez is quick to move and prevent that. Sanchez fires off a few punches, but they aren't thrown with any great force. Serra uses an underhook to work some separation, then quickly scrambles. He may regret that choice, as that gives Sanchez the perfect opportunity to get side control. Inside control now. He's catching his breath, throwing a couple of punches to the body. Sanchez blocks the attempt to pull guard. Pounds away with left, but fails to do any significant damage as Sanchez blocks Serra as he tries to transition to guard. Sanchez pounds away but Serra deals with them fairly easily. Sanchez blocks Serra as he tries to transition to guard. Almost a minute left in the second round, a minute left in the fight. Sanchez throws some small strikes, but it's clear just taking a moment to catch his breath. He blocks the attempt to pull guard. Pounds away with lefts, but doesn't do much damage. So he tries to pull guard on Sanchez, but doesn't get anywhere with the attempt. Fires off some lefts, but Serra's in trouble by them. And that's the end of the fight. All Diego Sanchez rather than that second round. That was not what Matt Serra needed. Diego Sanchez is going to be 7-0. Matt Serra is going to be 7-4 and advance into the second round. As that was rated average, or at least they brought it back and just making an average fight. Diego Sanchez, thanks everyone connected to the American Top Team for helping him prepare for this fight, and sponsors for supporting him financially. The interviewer asked if he'd be interested in fighting next. He replies that Pearson better get prepared because he's coming for him. He has the innate charisma that allows him to get good reactions from during these interviews. As then we got George Rush St-Pierre taking on the muscle shark Sherk at 5'6", 183, 5'10", 183. George St-Pierre is going to almost tower over poor Sherk as Minnesota Martial Arts Academy. No team for George St-Pierre, as George St-Pierre just a mixed martial artist. So Sherk has the wrestling background. Minus 450, plus 350. Still pretty close though, as Hideki Nagumo is our referee, our judges, and here we go. They touch gloves. They get together and strike, but neither fighter really does any damage. Standing up well, St-Pierre shoots in for the takedown. It's unsuccessful though, as Sherk sprawls it well, blocks it, and manages to push St-Pierre down to his hands and knees. St-Pierre gets up sharply though, sensing that Sherk was preparing to throw a vicious knee strike to the head. Showing great timing, Sherk comes in fast and looks for the takedown. Sherk gets a hold of a leg, but St-Pierre remains standing, hopping on the other foot. Uses that position to drive St-Pierre up against the ropes, as he leans all of his weight up against St-Pierre, pressing him against the ropes. 60 seconds goes by with something of a stalemate happening. Neither fighter begins being able to improve their position or generate an advantage, as he tries to get him up against the ropes with wrestling, but St-Pierre reverses so that he's the one in control now. Referee breaks it up. They're back to the center. St-Pierre throws some strikes on the right head kick, but Sherk defended all of them. Wow, as Sherk was ready and manages to catch the kick, and now he's looking to drive him to the mat, unable to complete the takedown. Now, damn, that is tough. If you catch the kick and can't get the takedown, shows you how great St-Pierre is there as he's up against the ropes. So now he's trying to smother St-Pierre against the ropes with his wrestling, but he reverses it and pushes Sherk up against the ropes instead. Gets an underhook looking for the takedown. Doesn't work though. Sherk defended it well. Looking for it again. This time he gets it, sweeps the leg, is successful, and Sherk has to pull guard. Fires off a few punches and catches his breath. He blocks Sherk as he tries to get enough separation to scramble. Throws a few rights to the body, and then some more rights this time to take a moment to plan ahead. He punches down at Sherk, but they're easily taking on gloves. Tries to get to full guard, but St-Pierre doesn't allow it, as St-Pierre throws a few weak-looking punches as he decides his next move. And again, Hideki Nagumo has to bring them back to their feet and separate them. A defensive jab from Sherk hits. Jab hits home from St-Pierre, then a high right head kick to the side of the head. Somehow doesn't knock him out. Defensive jab hits from Sherk as he lands a jab, then lands a right hand. Takedown attempt from Sherk. He gets the single leg. St-Pierre has to pull guard as Sherk looks to get past guard. He passes guard but can't secure side control as St-Pierre starts a scramble. Scramble ends up having St-Pierre pulling guard, losing out in the scramble, as he's smothering up a Sherk, pushing with his body, pushing forward and down. 54 seconds left in the first round. His attempts to pass guard. He passes guard, but he can't secure side control. St-Pierre again starts the scramble, and again he loses out on the scramble. He pounds away, but St-Pierre is in trouble by the strikes. As he's looking ready to try and scramble, but Sherk is quick to prevent it, and that's the end of the first round. Pretty back and forth round. Slight advantage to George St-Pierre, as he does have the strike advantages. Sherk, though, is doing a great job with his ground passes. they're both 1 for 3 on takedowns. It's still Sean Sherk's fight to win. This is actually really close than what a lot of people gave Sean Sherk credit for. 5 minutes left in the fight. Sean Sherk right out of the gate, looking for the takedown. GSP partially defends it, ends up hopping on one foot while Sherk has a hold of the other one. Sherk drives St-Pierre up against the ropes, leans all his weight up against St-Pierre, pressing him up against the ropes. Next minute or so, they see him engaging in close quarters dirty boxing, showing his ability to exert control. Sherk smothers St-Pierre up against the ropes. They exchange short punches to the body for about half a minute, with the fight having been stuck against the ropes for a lengthy period of time, again for the third time. Referee Hideki Nakamura has to break it up and separate them. Halfway into the second round, St-Pierre closes the distance, obviously looking to strike. Sherk looked like he was going to step in and grapple, but St-Pierre simply took the initiative first. He can't connect with a jab and then catches Sherk with a great hook. Setting it up well, shoots in for the takedown of Sean Sherk. Great sprawl from St-Pierre, prevents the takedown, allows him to push Sherk down on his hands and knees. Prepares to throw a knee strike, but can't keep control of Sherk, who's able to spring right back up. Moves on Sherk, preparing to throw. He connects with 2 left hands and then catches Sherk with a right hook. Exchange of strikes happens right in the center of the ring, but nothing comes of it. Minute left in the fight. There's a takedown attempt from Sherk, but it gets sprawled again. Great job by George St-Pierre, as tries a vicious soccer kick to the head, but Sherk very wisely scooted it back, which quickly is able to stand back up before he got knocked the fuck out. As he lands a left jab, misses with a vicious right hand. 15 seconds left in the fight. Sees his opponent about to shoot in. Sherk timed it well and moved in to start a clinch, but that's the end of the fight. George St-Pierre lost off of strikes, but all those sprawls, I think, helped him win that round. George St-Pierre. Hell of a fight there by Sean Sherk. He gave it his all, but just was not enough, and that was rated decent. As GSP thanks all of his sponsors for backing him, and also thanks his family, friends, and supporters. So he's very happy to have won on his Pride debut, and he's very happy to be here, and he's not impressed by your performance, as George St-Pierre is good in these interviews and knows how to sell himself well. As Superman, Dennis Hallman taking on Sean the Punisher Pearson, as 11-1, 23-4, minus 590, plus 470, that's kind of crazy. As wrestling jiu-jitsu, wrestling background, 2 wrestlers going at it. As Hideki Nagumo back out there again. As our judges, opening bell. An offer, touch of gloves is completely ignored by Sean Pearson. What a fucking piece of shit. Gets in close clinches with Dennis Hallman. Tries to wrestle Hallman up against the ropes. He does so. Now he's pinned him. And he's trying to keep him against the ropes, but Hallman works enough space to slip out and circle back. As he lands a left jab, but finds nothing but air with the big right. Pearson gets a hold of Hallman, trying to push Hallman so that his back is up against the ropes. He does so. Now Hallman is stacked with his back to the ropes. Tries to keep him up against the ropes, but Hallman works enough space that he could slip out and away and back to the center. Pearson has looked like he was angling to grapple, but he couldn't take the initiative. Hallman connects with a nice jab and hits Pearson with a straight right. Jab hits home from Hallman, and then he lands the right hand. He hits a left jab and scores with the right cross. Throws some strikes and a right head kick, but Pearson defends them all. As Pearson appeared to be going to try and get in close, but Hallman took the initiative first. Hallman hits 2 left jabs and lands a right hand. As setting it up well, Hallman shoots it for the takedown, and it's successful. He almost gets side control, but he has to settle for half guard. And half guard, Hallman throws a couple of punches designed to keep Pearson guessing. Pearson tries to get full guard on Hallman, but he doesn't get anywhere with it. Looking to get past half guard. He's too good for Pearson, slipping out of half guard straight into mount. Looking for an armbar, he gets the armbar. And Sean the Punisher Pearson taps out. Dennis Hallman, 24-4. Sean Pearson, 11-2 rather. As I think I skipped his little interview. No, well, it's rated good. No, there it is. As it gives a name check to everyone at the pit. All his various sponsors, then his friends, family, supporters. He praises Pearson for the tough fight. That's a hell of a performance by Dennis Hallman. As Matt Hughes taking on Jake Shields, 25-2, 14-2, 30 years old, 5'9", 183. Jake Shields, 5'11", 183, of course, as wrestling background, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background. Look at the betting line. Minus 990 to plus 790. Nuts. As Matt Hughes is basically the odds-on favorite to win this one. Big John McCarthy is our referee. As our ringside judges, round 1 begins. They get together and clinch. Matt Hughes seems to get the advantage. Look for a leg sweep. As he gets a nice inside leg trip. Fires off a few punches, but they aren't thrown with any great force. Some more punches, unloads some right hands, but Shields deals with them comfortably. Draws him in close, trying to smother him as Jake Shields. He's punching down, but they're taking on the gloves as Matt Hughes. He tries to get double underhooks on Matt Hughes, this Jake Shields, but can't get them. Referee stands back up. John McCarthy standing back up. They clinch. Hughes wrestles away into a dominant position, looking for another takedown. Doesn't work though. Shields defends the takedown, looking for a leg sweep. He gets that one though. An outside leg trip sweeps Shields down to the ground where he's left in on his back, under side control. As tries to pound on Shields, but none of the blows land any degree of power. Tries to transition to guard, but can't manage it. Matt Hughes pounds away with rights, but fails to land anything significant. Tries to move to guard, but Hughes doesn't allow it. Looking for an armbar, but Shields stops Hughes from applying it. Tries to move to guard, but Hughes doesn't allow it. Pounds away, but Shields isn't troubled by the strike. Tries to transition to guard, but he can't manage it. As again, Big John McCarthy has to break it up, standing back up. They get come close and clinch. Hughes is the aggressor in the clinch. Looks to sweep a leg out of the takedown from Shields. He gets the outside leg trip. As he pounds away, but Shields isn't tripped by the strikes. As he tries to sweep on the bottom, but doesn't budge Hughes. As Shields is being smothered against the ground by Matt Hughes. And again, just smothering him. There's a few strikes, but they are without venom. Some more strikes without venom, and it blocks Shields. He tries to sweep from guard. There's a few right hands, so he takes a moment to plan ahead and doesn't allow Shields to lock him up and double underhooks. 51 seconds up to the first round. Big John McCarthy is standing back up for the third time in this round. Both fighters want to get in close and they want to get in clinch. Hughes is the aggressor. Another sweep, but he can't get the trip as Shields wrestles his way to the dominant position. Looking to muscle Hughes up against the ropes. He does so. He pinned him. But that's the end of the first round. Obviously, all Matt Hughes. As yeah, it was not the most exciting round we've ever seen. Hopefully this next one picks up. As last round, round 2 begins. Both fighters want to get in close. They get to clinch. Hughes is the aggressor. With a good grip, giving him solid control of Shields. Looking to wrestle him down. A belly-to-belly suplex leaves Shields on his back, pulling half guard. As Hughes attempts to pass half guard and gain better position. He passes but loses control momentarily and the scramble begins. The scramble fails to secure either fighter dominant position. They end up both standing. They clinch up, start jacking for position. As Hughes gets control of the clinch, he tries to pick up Shields for a slam. He does so. He fucking slams him. As he throws a few weak-looking punches, he decides his next move. Fires off some strikes but doesn't do any significant damage. Shields pushes Hughes away while defending the strikes right out of guard. Hughes snaps off a kick but it's caught and Shields uses it to pull him into half guard. Punches down at Shields, but they are easily taken on the gloves. He blocks an attempt to move from half guard to full. Pounds with rights, but doesn't do much damage. Blocks an attempt from half guard to full guard. Throws a few weak-looking punches, decides his next move. Tries to get to full guard on Hughes, but doesn't get anywhere with it. Hughes pounds with rights, but doesn't do much damage. Tries to transition to full guard, but can't manage it. Tries to pound on Shields. Another blows land with a degree of power, and that is the end of the fight. Obviously, in decision for Matt Hughes. Yes. One side as it gets. Sorry, Jake Shields. You had a minus 990 fight. 26-2, 14-3 for Jake Shields. Matt Hughes name checks everyone at Melotic Fighting Systems, all his various sponsors, and his friends, family, supporters. He celebrates his Pride debut victory and says that he's already looking forward to the next fight. And speaking of Melotic Fighting Systems, the Croatian sensation, Ben Melotic, taking on Tetsuji Kato, 27-6-2. Tetsuji Kato at 20-5, minus 310, plus 240. As it's the co-main event. Big John McCarthy stand out there for this one. Our judges. Kaito is fighting in front of a home crowd tonight and gets a big cheer from it as he makes his entrance. Underway, they touch gloves. Melotic closes in on Kaito, looking to unleash some strikes. A jab hits home from Melotic and then lands a nice straight right hand that landed hard. Kaito keeps slipping out of range, looking for a chance to dart in and start grappling. As he can't connect with a setup strike, then lands a right hand. Connects with a jab, but a big right hand to the body fails to find the target. Come together and trade leather, but neither fighter really does any damage. Throws a 1-2, but Kaito was equal to it. Tries to take a chance to grab Melotic into a clinch. Looking for their trip takedown. He doesn't get it though. Melotic instead wrestles away into controlling the grapple. Melotic can't keep control of Kato in the grapple, and they soon being pushed around. Kato attempts to wrestle Melotic to the ground, but it's unsuccessful. 0-for-2 on takedowns for Tetsuji Kato. Melotic maintained a good solid base. Kato's looking to muscle Melotic back up against the ropes. He can't move Melotic at all though, and finds himself being out wrestled. Melotic is trying to push Kato so that his back is up against the ropes. He ends up backed against the ropes, with Kato stuck against the ropes. Melotic tries to complete a takedown, but getting low and grabbing both legs, he has it. Kato pulls guard. Melotic is trying to pass guard and get a better position. Passes guard, but Kato was ready and scrambles for position. Inserts, which the scramble results in Melotic being on his back, pulling guard. Kato begins to try to pass guard and get better position. He struggles, but cannot find a way to get past in range, stuck in guard. Melotic pulls in close, scores with a couple of short punches to the side of the head. Halfway into the first round, Kato begins trying to pass guard and get better position. Passes the side control, but doesn't have enough time to secure the position before Melotic starts scrambling. Manages to come up on top with Melotic pulling guard. In guard, Kato begins to pass to side control. Kato struggles but cannot find a way past and remains stuck in guard. He tries to catch Kato with a punch, but is not on target. Kato begins trying to pass guard and get better control. Melotic finds his opponent too skilled, and Kato passes guard into side control. Kato begins trying to get himself into mount. Kato almost gets to mount. Melotic bucks his hip and starts scrambling. Kato's up first and quickly grabs Melotic as he too stands up, getting back control. As grappling from behind, Kato attempts to pick Melotic up and force him to the ground. Tries hard to block it, but Kato isn't going to be denied and eventually gets the takedown. As he ends up turtled up with Kato on top of him, holding having a waist lock. Pounds away on Melotic, but it can't land anything significant. Pounds away, but Melotic isn't troubled by the strikes. Starts a scramble position, ends up in half guard. In half guard, Melotic throws a couple of punches inside to keep Kato guessing. Tries to get full guard, but can't manage it. Melotic attempts to pass half guard. He can't quite manage to get past half guard in this attempt. 32 seconds left in the first round. Kato tries to transition to full guard, but he can't manage it. Tries to pound on Kato, but none of the blows land with any degree of power. That's the end of the first round. Pretty close. If you had to give it to someone, I would a slight edge to Pat Melotic, I think, but it could go either way, really. We'll see, though. Shall see how the second round goes. Yes, here we go. As Melotic throws a quick punch that doesn't land, lands a left hand that lands a right hand to the body, moves in on Kato, preparing to throw. Appear to be getting in close, but Melotic took the initiative first. A 1-2 for Melotic fails to land. For the first time now, Melotic is starting to breathe a little heavier as Melotic throws a hook to the body, but Kato steps back to avoid it, seizes the chance and grabs Melotic into a clinch. Using his wrestling skills, Kato is trying to push Melotic up against the ropes. He does so, and now Melotic is pinned to the ropes, looking for the trip takedown. He gets it. Great inside leg trip, sees Melotic get thrown to the mat, and Kato is left in half guard. And half guard now. Kato begins working the side control. He passes but loses control momentarily, and scramble begins. Scramble leaves Melotic back on his feet, and he drives Kato up against the ropes. Kato goes low and comes up holding a single leg, leaving Melotic hopping in danger of getting taken down. He gets it. He smartly sweeps the standing leg, gets side control. Inside control, Kato throws a couple of punches designed to keep Melotic guessing. Kato blocks Melotic, tries to transition guard. He keeps Melotic guessing with a few quick strikes, tries to move the guard, but Kato doesn't allow it. Kato throws a few strikes there without venom. Inside control, Kato catches his breath, just to throw a couple of punches to the body. Kato fires away with punches, does little in the way of damage. Melotic gets blocked as he tries to transition the guard, and that's the end of the fight. I think that Suzuki Kato won that by unanimous decision. Might be a split decision. Looking at the fight metrics, he won that round for sure. Yep, unanimous decision for Tetsuji Kato. What a hell of an upset for Tetsuji Kato, the Croatian sensation, Pat Melotic. Talk about a rough go of things lately. He has lost his first three in Pride, which it was Vitor Belfort, Frank Shamrock, and Anderson Silva. He beat Masanori Suda, then he lost to Kazushi Sakuraba at American Bushido 1, and now he loses here in an upset to Tetsuji Kato. Man, Tetsuji Kato advances to the next round, and that was a really good fight, and I agree with the game there. As Tetsuji Kato thanks to everyone connected to Kato Dojo for helping prepare for the fight and his sponsors for supporting him financially. He asks who he'd like to face next, and he answers that he'd like to fight Dennis Hallman. It would probably be a great contest. That would be an awesome fight, as it might happen too. I'm not sure how the bracket would set up in the second round. As our main event, Ice Cold Igor taking on Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, Big Nog, as 46-5-1 no contest for Ice Cold Igor, 14-2 for Big Nog, the 9-inch reach advantage, 5'8", 6'3". Both weighed in 235. No team for Igor, Brazilian top team for Big Nog, plus 150, minus 150. Hell of a main event we have lined up, done with the welterweights, into the heavyweights now. It's for the heavyweight title. Our referee, Yuji Shimada, our judges for this one. We are underway. They touch gloves, come together and engage. Nogueira lands a left jab and also lands a nice right hook. And Ice Cold Igor nails a right cross. They meet in the center. Ice Cold Igor misses the big right hand, putting him off balance, allowing Nogueira to attack with a spin kick to the ribs. They come together and strike. There's a brief exchange of fire, but neither fighter lands. Nogueira's off target with a left jab and also finds his right cross blocked. Shows good head movement, bobbing and weaving his way past 2 punches. Both fighters meet in the center. Igor misses the right hook and gets countered with a left jab and a solid right hand. Nogueira uses his reach advantage there, picking Igor off at range. They engage in the center. Igor misses the right hook and leaves him open to be countered with a good kick to the legs. They come together and engage. He misses the right hook and gets countered with a clean right hand. They come together and strike. He misses the big right hand, putting him off balance, allowing Nogueira to attack with a left jab and a left hook to the ribs. They come together and engage. Again, he misses the right cross, leaving him open to be countered by a quick left hook by Nogueira. Looked like we were about to see a shot from Nogueira, but Ice Cold Igor was more aggressive and took the initiative. Uses the left jab, and Nogueira avoids the kick to the body that set it up. There's a takedown attempt by Nogueira. Doesn't get it though. Gets a hold of a leg, but Igor remains standing, hopping on the other foot. Nogueira uses his position to drive Igor up against the ropes, looking for a trip. He gets the inside leg trip as he's trying to pass guard and get better position. He gets it. He's in half guard. Trying to get out of half guard into better position. He gets side control after getting his leg free from half guard. Try to get himself in the mount. He doesn't get the mount only because Igor rolled over and gave up his back instead. Looking for the rear naked choke, and he gets the rear naked choke. Big Nog wins it again. I think the last time they fought, I believe it was by submission with a Kimura. So he gets another submission win. That's what happens when you have a fucking a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as the heavyweight champion of the world. You get submission wins as a heavyweight fighter. What a time it was when we had a fucking champion of the world in the heavyweight division who was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. As Big Nog is your winner. He beats him for the second time and is his third defense of the heavyweight title. It's rated decent. I already forgot what it is. I think that it was rated good, their last fight. It was. But hell of a win for Ice Cold Igor. Now we see who he faces off next. Really not sure, to be honest. As giving thanks, Big Nog praises his team, a Brazilian top team, Sphere sponsors, and the fans who came out to support him. Big Nog has the pride heavyweight title around his waist and celebrates having defended the title successfully. As it was a 71 on the critical rating and 96% on the commercial rating. 25,000 people in Kanto for this one. 8 million gate. Crease or pop everywhere. Hell yeah. As the submission of the night was Big Nog. Fight of the night was Carlos Eaton Frank Trigg. KO of the night was Leo Machida Minoru Suzuki. This is the KO of the fight of the night, Yeah, actually, 9 million. Wow, how fun. As is anybody in Mecca? Well, just so we could skip that. Hell yeah. What an episode. Episode 31, our welterweight Grand Prix. Hopefully, we can have everybody fight on the fucking Critical Countdown show. As I think that's the card. As Gabriel Gonzaga. So we have him shortlisted, so that's why we have that. A lot of fights happening on Saturday, week 3 in April, I guess. Oh, no, I think it might be Frozen. You see, there we go. Alright. As we got a lot of fucking news. Alright. As, let's go to matchmaking here. Yeah, this Critical Countdown. So we already have a Critical Countdown card. Sakuraba, Anderson Silva. Both Gracie hunters. You know, Sakuraba has beaten, obviously, Hoist and Henzo. Anderson Silva has beaten Hoist and Henzo. So it only makes sense they fight. Giant Silva and Jerome Lee Banner. That's going to be fucking awesome. As a spectacle. Egan Inoue and Flavio Luis Mora, as that's just kind of like going to be the opener card, maybe even in the prelim. As the American Machida card's already been set, Chuck Liddell, Vanderlei Silva, middleweight title fight, Frank Shamrock, Mauricio Rua, Bob Sapp, Don Fry, that's going to be fucking awesome. Jeremy Horn, Alex Stiebling, Tsuyoshi Koshaka, taking out Mirko Krokop, Yuki Kato, Forrest Griffin, and then Keith Jardine, Masanori Suda, Daniel Puder, Chekongo, which that's two polar opposites there fighting it off in the prelims. How fun. So yeah, kind of every other fight card is going to be an American Bushido card, but besides this one, I want to spice it up with a Brazilian Bushido card, which seems like it was actually a bad idea because the pop in Brazil is not that high right now, but we have a lot of fucking guys. Yeah, we got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We have 2 of our champions are from Brazil, in fucking Big Nog and Vanderlei Silva. I'm assuming it won't be for the welterweight division, though, because we don't have any welterweight fighters from Brazil. But that's in due time, though. We might get some. Tournaments, that's right. Yeah, Suji Kato, Matt Hughes, Short St-Pierre, Dennis Hallman. That's an awesome fight. Diego Sanchez, John Fitch. Then Carlos Newton, probably going to win easily over Kaito Nakamura. That's kind of a gimme one, but those 3 fights, though, that's some hell of a fights there. As we'll just kind of see real quick. Critical Countdown, that's in June. So that's 2 months away. So let's see, absences. Wait. Yeah, looks like everyone should be able to fight on that card. Hell yeah. We're going to have a 1-night tournament, finally, for the Welterweight Grand Prix. Hell yeah. Finally. We did it. As, thank you all for watching. As, we will catch you guys next Monday for more Pride FC action. WMMA 5. This will be American Bushido 3. What a main event. Chuck Liddell, Vanderlei Silva. Awesome. The Axe Murder versus the Iceman. Be there.